Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to talk about another very basic element related to HTML forms, which is data list. So mainly we are going to talk about what is data list, why do we need data list, what are those scenarios where we are supposed to utilize data list. In fact, we will also discuss what is the difference between data list and a select, because both elements provide a predefined list to user in order to select something, right? But then what is the need of data list if we have that select element? Okay, so these all things we are going to discuss in this particular session. But before we start, I would like to request you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because these all sessions are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be very easy for you to understand the ongoing topic. Okay, and for time being, we are just focusing on the data list part. But as I mentioned, they all are connected with each other. So for example, if we talk about today's session, then we are going to talk about the difference between select and data list. And select part is already completed in previous sessions. So if you don't know about the select, then I think it would be a bit difficult for you to understand the difference between select element and data list element. And that is the reason I'm requesting you to firstly follow those sessions which is already covered, and then you can learn about the ongoing topic. Fine. Okay. Other than this, there is one question for all of you, and I hope you will share the answer of this question, because it will not only help you to prepare for the interviews and exams, but also it will help others who don't know the answer of this question. So in every session, like, we keep one single simple question. So today's question is, why do we use size attribute with select in HTML form? We don't need answer in a descriptive manner. You can just put in a very small very small answer which will just give a hint to all those who don't know the answer of this. Okay, so you can just put 2 or 3 line answer maybe, or only 2-3 keywords if it is enough. Okay, because we just want to see like if you got the answer or not. But in case if you don't know the answer, then you can refer one of our previous session, because there we have already discussed about this question in a detailed manner. Okay, so fine. And if I talk about the code, then here I have just noted down the basic HTML code so far, which shows one heading, which is H1 for HTML by Sharmit, and then we have just denoted down the basic things like body and HTML. Okay, so let's save this code and let me show you the output first. So right at the moment, if you show the output, it is coming like this: HTML by Sharmit. Now what is our intention today's session? We are going to talk about the data list element in terms of form. So let's create the basic form first, because firstly we need one form where we will apply this data list element. So to create the basic form, you can simply write here form tag, and in this form tag we would need one button. So I'll just specify the button here. In button we will write submit, and then we will write the type as well. So in type we will put submit type. Clear? So let's save this code and refresh your browser. After a refresh, you will see that one submit button is coming here. But right now if I click on this button, it will not do anything. Why? Because we have not specified any actions yet. So let's specify the action here. So I will write here tspgm10.html. Now what is this tspgm10.html? It is a page which I have already created. You can specify any page which you want to use. So basically what this button will do now, it will capture the data from this web page when we add the input fields or any field which takes input from the user, and then that data will be transferred to this page tspgm10 after a click on button. Okay, so I think now this part is clear that why we are using button. So if we have specified button, so it's time to add the data list, and we'll discuss what is data list. So let's start with the definition itself. So if I give you the exact simple term definition, then you can say that data list element is mainly used to provide a predefined list to user. so that they can directly select the value from the list. But in case if they don't want to select with the suggestions, then in that case they can also they are also able to key in the actual value by their own. Okay, so in other words, you can say, if we talk about the difference between select and data list, so in select we have to select the option from the list itself, right? But in case of data list, no, we are not bound to select only from the list. You can also key in the value if you don't want to select from the list. So let's see how these things will work in the practical scenarios. So for that, firstly I will write here one heading, and in heading I will write data list in HTML forms. Fine. So let's save it and refresh the browser. So this heading is coming like this. Now what we will do, we are going to create the data list. So to create the data list, few things we are mandatory that we can use. So firstly we would need one input field. So in input field you can provide first thing, which is list attribute, and this list will point towards the data list which we are going to create. Okay, so I will write here browsers. Okay, and we will assign the name to this list, which is browser again. Alright, so we have just specified two attribute to this input field, which is list browsers and name browsers. Now to link this list, this input field, we will create one list, or you can say data list. So if I write here data list, and then if I press enter, so this is the place where we will specify the ID as well. So let's specify the ID, and ID would be the same as we have specified in the list, because this list will link this data list through this ID itself. Okay, so after that you can add the option which you want to specify here. So, and this part is not needed in data list because we are just giving the suggestions. So I can directly specify the value here, for example Google Chrome. Now if I save this code and refresh my browser, you will see the output as this. So here if I click on this drop down, why you might be thinking like why these options are coming, because we have specified only one thing, because these are the previously searched things or previously keyed thing. So by default it will come like this, but if you search anything or if you try to put anything here, so it will directly come in the list. Don't get confused, let me show you. If you select Google Chrome and click on submit, your data has been submitted as a browser value Google Chrome. But let's say, as we discussed, that in data list we have option to key in the values as well. So for example, instead of this I write ABC and click on submit. So this has been submitted. If I refresh my browser and click on this drop down, you can see ABC is added to the list. Okay, why? Because this is the data list, and this is just for the suggestion purpose. If user want to go with that suggestion, they can simply select it, but if they don't want to select it, they can simply type in. Okay, likewise you can add other options as well. And for option also, like I'll show you, like if you write something like this, for example if I write here value, and in this place I will write Firefox. Okay, Firefox, which is a browser, and if I write here FF, so let's save it and refresh your browser. Not here, like this. Yeah, so if I click on this drop down, you can see FF is coming as a subheading. Okay, so if you want to keep something like this, you can. Otherwise in case of data list, we usually write in this manner only. So if you save this and refresh your browser, it will come like this, and from this list you can select either Google Chrome or a Firefox. Likewise, if you want to add few more values, so let's say we want to add one more value, so I can simply write here option, and these things you can try, like we can use OPT here or not. Okay, so these things maybe you can try as an assignment, so that everyone can get the knowledge like whether we can use it or not. Okay, so let me add the another browser here, save this and refresh your browser. So now it is coming with 3 options. So if user want to select the Google Chrome, they can select it and submit it. But if they don't want to select anything from here and they want to write any other browser, for example I want to go with a Safari browser, so I can simply write here Safari, okay, and then I can submit it, so it will take the value Safari. Okay, so I think now it is clear that why do we need this data list thing. Important thing is you can use firstly you need one input field with list attribute where you can specify the name, and then when you're creating the data list you can use ID. Okay, what is the ID and everything, these things we will also discuss in the upcoming part, but for now for data list you just need to specify ID, and what this ID is doing, it is linking this input field with your data list element. Clear? And if I talk about the difference between the select and data list, then you can simply say that yes, in case of select also we are providing the predefined list, but there we are supposed to select, the users are supposed to select options from only from the list, but in case of data list user can select the values directly from the list, but also they are allowed to key in the values. Okay, so I hope today's session is clear to all of you, and now I request you to please do share the answer of this question. So those who will share the consistent correct answer will be spotlighted in the upcoming sessions. So yeah, that's all for today. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.